This last clip starts off with a man lying near the shore of murky waters where an 11-foot alligator stands guard. He proceeds to taunt the predator with a fish, challenging it to come closer and out of the water, seemingly unafraid of the animal. The alligator, unable to resist the urge, gets out of the water and takes the fish that the man flicked earlier. After taking the fish, and seemingly wanting more, the alligator can be seen still staring at the man, so he decides to give it a quick scare.
Now!
Thankfully, the alligator retreats back into the murky waters, and the man and his friend laugh as the encounter ends. This unlucky camper went through a real-life nightmare after he saw two large and hungry lions right outside his tent. The clip starts off intensely as it shows a camper inside his tent attempting to scare off the two large predators, trying to make him their dinner. The animals keep harassing him by poking the tent with their sharp claws and getting their faces in front of the tent door. Despite it being the only thing keeping the lions from reaching him, the man repeatedly opens the tent door, taunting the predators even more. Thankfully, the lions eventually leave him alone, enabling him to go outside and escape. A fisherman minding his own business was met with a reality check after he was reminded by a shark to always keep on the lookout. This clip starts off with a fisherman fixing something on the end of his small boat, dangling his legs in the water without a care in the world. As he continues fixing his boat, he gets the experience of his life after a fast-approaching tiger shark comes his way. Thankfully, the fisherman manages to evade the predator's jaws at the very last second, and he gets to keep his legs another day. While exploring in Zimbabwe, an explorer and her tour guide saw their lives flash before their eyes when they were charged by an aggressive elephant. At the start of the video, the pair are walking when they spot an elephant up ahead. Intrigued by the magnificent creature, they decide to approach it, but would later come to regret it. At first, all appeared to be fine, and the explorers managed to approach the elephant. However, things took a terrifying turn when the majestic beast spotted them.
Steady, steady.
Quickly, the tour guide swung into action and began to talk the animal down while they both backed away slowly. Sadly, this solution was short-lived, because moments later, the elephant struck again. Luckily for the pair, the elephant turns away at the last minute, leaving them unharmed. In Saskatchewan, a pair of friends had a horrifying day when they encountered a black bear that didn't seem to be intimidated by their presence at all. The video starts out with two men in the wild observing their surroundings from the safety of a tree while one of them records the experience. While looking around, the explorers spot a black bear nuzzling up to a blue tank, and they begin to focus on it silently. Suddenly noticing that it is being watched, the bear snaps its neck in the direction of the men and proceeds to do the unthinkable.
Hey.
Now in such proximity to the bear, the men decide to stay still and quiet so as not to attract its attention. Luckily for the men, the bear does not look in their direction, and after a few minutes it returns to the ground, leaving them to their own devices. While kayaking on a river, two friends were placed in a risky rescue mission that definitely proved to be a very bad idea in the end. As the video begins, the man recording is seen trying to retrieve a lost kayak that was stranded a few feet away from a crocodile sitting on the edge of the shore. He proceeds to get closer and eventually succeeds in getting close enough to grab the kayak, but as he tries to reach out, things took a horrifying turn. The crocodile chases the men as they paddle as hard as they can in hopes of losing the quickly approaching animal. Thankfully, though, they manage to lose the crocodile's interest, and they live to kayak another day. A ghost cage dive with the sharks turned for the worse after the door broke open, leaving a diver in serious danger. With the goal of recording a glimpse of a mega shark, Discovery UK sends one brave diver down with the sharks, hoping to lure a massive one in. The diver tries to fend off the sharks coming from all directions, all desperate to get a taste of the diver.
There's 5 of them, the same frame, they're all circling around the cage.
After a while, the cage door breaks open as he tries to keep it shut while sharks attack from all directions, one shark even managing to do this. Miraculously, he manages to push it out of the cage, and the team eventually decides to pull him out after the close call. This bone-chilling encounter starts off with a man recording himself kayaking towards a crocodile that appears to be asleep. Going closer and closer, he eventually ends up only a few inches away from the predator's jaws, and what happens next will send chills down your spine. Thankfully, the animal simply decides to jump into the water and not onto the man's kayak as the video comes to an end. In South Africa, a tour guide identified as Steve Bailey had a nerve-wracking encounter that nearly went south with a wild African elephant. This intense clip opens with Steve lying on the forest floor, a few feet away from a humongous elephant, and somehow he managed to remain unfazed. As if that was not enough, the brave tour guide turned things up a notch by stretching an arm out in the direction of the magnificent beast. Unsure of how to respond, the wary animal begins to approach the man cautiously while flicking its trunk around. Deciding that the man was not a potential threat, the elephant briefly acknowledges him before turning to walk away in the opposite direction. At the end of the video, Steve and his team celebrate his success. In a bid to defend her home from an intruding bear, a woman got a lot more than she bargained for. The video opens with a bear feasting on an open can of birdseed in a privately owned garage while being recorded by the homeowner and her friend. Moments later, the homeowner starts walking towards the bear, clapping her hands to scare it away. However, this attempt backfires when this happens. Luckily for the woman, the bear changes its mind just before it reaches her, choosing instead to return to his meal of birdseed. Brave Wilderness's Coyote Peterson is no stranger to dangerous animals, but in this clip, he encountered something that was more than he bargained for. This terrifying encounter starts off with Coyote and his crew attempting to track an enormous American alligator.
See, this is how we were able to track him. All of the sawgrass is kind of matted down, and at the end, we probably have about a 10-foot alligator.
After tracking it down, Coyote talks to the camera all about the alligator until he decides that he needs to do something dangerous in order to get a closer look.
You have to respect the American alligator. He can take out my legs with a single swing.
Eventually, though, he feels unsatisfied with the footage they've gotten so far and decides to spice things up by doing the unthinkable.
Wow! Okay, you hear that hiss? He's not exactly happy to have me on his back. Okay, go ahead, you guys can get in a little bit closer.
After getting a chance to wrestle with the dinosaur, he finally decides that it's time to let it back into the wild, but not before trying one last thing.
1, 2, 3. Now, these reptiles are built like tanks. Yeah, he said, all right, I've had enough of the underwater business.
Thankfully, he evades the attack and manages to keep his hands intact as he ends the video, leaving the animal alone and everyone safe. A group of tourists got the experience of a lifetime after a hike went wrong in the Pandoro Game Lodge, Great Kruger National Park. In the beginning, a group of tourists can be seen following the tracks of a lion in an attempt to get a closer look at the predator. After a while, they eventually find the lion, which proceeds to do something horrifying, leaving the group shaking in fear. After threatening the group, the animal then decides to retreat and walk back towards the cover of the bush surrounding them. Fortunately, no one got hurt throughout this bone-chilling encounter. After a huge storm flooded the streets of Vadodara, India, its residents became concerned after spotting a hungry crocodile roaming around freely, so they attempted the unthinkable. As this incredible clip starts, a man can be seen trying to catch something in the water below him while also being extra cautious. He appears to start having a hard time, but this changes unexpectedly when he pulls up something that shocked him beyond belief. He then proceeds to drag the massive crocodile away from the streets, appearing unafraid, despite being only a few feet away from the vicious animal. Unfortunately, the clip ends abruptly as the man drags the agitated predator, and what happens next remains unanswered. In eastern British Columbia, an adventurous hiker almost had a heart attack after coming face to face with an unexpected guest on the trail. At the start of the video, the nature lover is seen running down a rather narrow trail while recording his experience on a GoPro attached to his chest. For quite a while, all appears to be going smoothly, and then, out of nowhere, a giant grizzly bear pops out and does this. Frightened by the sight of the predator charging at him, the hiker immediately picks up the pace and starts sprinting away as fast as he can. The video comes to an end as the man, thankfully, seems to have managed to escape from that situation unharmed. This adrenaline-pumping encounter starts with two men approaching a gigantic crocodile hiding in the murky waters ahead. One man can be seen holding a stick with a piranha on the other end in hopes of feeding the crocodile, but as he starts to get closer, things take a shocking turn. After the horrifying encounter, the man proceeds to bait the animal again, but luckily the predator swam away, ending the video there. In the Kerala jungle, a newly wedded couple received a horrifying wedding gift from an angry elephant. While exploring the jungle, the two lovebirds dared to approach a wild elephant for pictures, and this intense clip shows the aftermath. When the video starts, the unfortunate couple are fresh out of the attack and are lying on the grass a few feet away from the now approaching elephant. Noticing the impending danger, the people in the vicinity start doing their best to distract the beast, and they manage to do so long enough for the couple to escape. Outraged, the elephant charges towards the crowd, and they all take to their heels. A zoo trip quickly turned grim after a man fell into an enclosure where a pair of male and female lions made sure to greet him below. A man who appears to have fallen accidentally into a lion enclosure can be seen in the beginning of this heart-racing clip. The crowd screams in fear and terror while the man attempts to scare the large predators trying to get closer to examine him. The large predators continue to approach him despite his best efforts to make himself look as big and terrifying as possible, with the hopes of scaring the lions away. Miraculously, both lions lose interest in the man, giving him time to safely escape. Starting off with a bang, this first clip will surely make your blood run cold after two men rode too close to a fierce alligator. The video begins with the friends kayaking in a murky river when they encounter a large alligator blocking their path. Thinking that the animal was going to move aside, one man decides to paddle straight to it, despite his friend advising him not to. What happens next might shock you.
Don't do it, don't.
Unfortunately, what happens next remains to be a mystery as the camera fumbles down, ending the video. The gnarly Charlie Grom surf contest in Satellite Beach, Florida became bone-chilling after a young surfer got involved in the center of a shark sighting. The intense video starts off with the event organizers calling the surfers off the beach after a shark sighting during the event. Trying his best to paddle to the shore, a young surfer named Tanner keeps calm after the waves reveal something horrifying trailing him. With extreme composure and calmness, Tanner manages to not panic and paddle to the shore as fast as possible. Thankfully, he loses the shark and gets escorted back to safety, where his parents and other spectators breathe in relief. In a small town called Emo in northwestern Ontario, a man and a woman had a very unusual interaction with not one but several bears in a backyard. At the beginning of the clip, a woman named Alex announces that in this video she will be visiting a man whose backyard is home to 30-plus bears that he single-handedly cares for.
There's a man here in Emo who literally has like 30 bears living in his backyard, and this is his wildlife sanctuary.
Upon reaching Isaiah Wildlife Sanctuary, Alex meets the owner, Michael Scheibler, and decides to try something that not many people have the courage to do.
Like this?
Yeah, just hold on.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Oh, she's so gentle, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's careful not to hurt you.
As the day progresses, both of them can be seen attracting and feeding multiple bears from their own hands with no fear in the world.
Well, just reach out there. There you go. So you're within about 2 feet. And here comes Mama back.
After an eye-opening experience, the video comes to an end with Michael soliciting for support from animal lovers all over the world. Two friends got extremely close to danger after they saw a crocodile laying on a golf course and decided to go near it. You won't believe what they did next. The clip begins as one man can be seen approaching the animal laying on the Puerto Vallarta golf course, while his friend records him from afar.
Holy that thing is huge. Hey, Jay.
He goes near the predator, eventually being only inches away from a good picture or from being its next meal. After taking a couple of pictures of the crocodile, he decides that he has had enough, but decides to get a feel of the animal before leaving. Luckily, the crocodile remained calm throughout the encounter, despite being only a few inches away from the dangerously curious man. While taking a drive around Kruger Park, a group of tourists and their tour guide paid the price for provoking a lone elephant. The video opens with the woman behind the camera explaining that the nearby elephant hates the roaring of engines, and so they cannot move their Jeep for fear of being attacked.
This elephant doesn't like the start of an engine, so here he comes after us.
Stay there.
Visibly irritated by the humans, the beast closes up the gap between him and the vehicle and proceeds to break a branch off a nearby tree, thereby frightening the tourists.
Oh my gosh, he's angry.
After a few moments of waiting, the group devises an escape plan, which is to start the Jeep and drive away at top speed. Immediately as the engine starts, the elephant does this. Luckily, the explorers are able to escape the animal safely. In a rural area, many partygoers were forced to entertain an unusual guest at their pool party. This intense clip starts out with a humongous elephant emerging from the bushes and meaningfully approaching a private pool. Upon reaching the pool, the fearless animal, that appears to be completely unfazed by the pool's occupants, does the unexpected. Too shocked to react, the people in the pool remain frozen in place until the animal has drunk to its satisfaction. Now satisfied, the beast turns around and heads back into the bushes. While fishing in murky Indonesian waters, a popular YouTuber got to meet an unexpected competitor, just as patient as him in its hunt for food. The clip starts with a man known for his fishing videos, patiently waiting near the edge of a river for a fish to take his bait. After a couple of minutes pass, he eventually catches several fish and proudly shows them to the camera.
Pertama mas bro, lumayan ini.
After he finishes replacing the baits, he proceeds to sit and wait again until he was unexpectedly interrupted by a terrifying visitor. Luckily, he backed away just in time to avoid any further trouble, allowing him to leave the scene and continue his video elsewhere. A shark fishing trip in the Florida Keys became more terrifying than exciting after they caught a very aggressive shark. To begin the video, a fisherman can be seen struggling to reel in a shark after a successful catch during the trip.
We all up in your craw?
Yeah. We're gonna get on it so I don't get around any traps or anything.
The captain helps the fisherman bring the shark closer to the boat in order to release it, yet it proves to be a difficult task as the shark becomes irritated. They eventually succeed in releasing the shark despite it thrashing around and even hitting the boat at one point. Although a very scary encounter, the captain manages to keep both the shark and the fisherman safe throughout. What was supposed to be a fun honeymoon trip quickly turned for the worse after a scary encounter with lions in Scariest, South Africa. This terrifying encounter begins with one of the tourists recording a pride of lions relaxing and laying down in a patch of grass.
8 of them.
After a while, one of the male lions does something extremely petrifying, forcing the group to run quickly. The predator does not stop pursuing the group as it eventually gets closer and closer, scaring everyone in the Jeep. Luckily, the lion loses interest and decides to run past the group, ending the chase. During a boat trip in crocodile-infested waters, a group of tourists encountered an enormous crocodile that scared them straight. At the beginning of the clip, the group encounters a large predator lying on the shores of a seemingly peaceful yet dangerous river.
Holy f***. Look how big he is. Oh, get back. Oh,
As they get closer to the crocodile, the man recording urges them to stay away, yet they are too late, because the predator already has its eyes on them.
that's huge. That's huge. Dad! Oh!
Speeding off as fast as they can, the cameraman struggles to hold the camera steady after being terrified by the massive animal.
Get it back! I don't want him coming up to the boat.
Thankfully, the enormous creature does not pursue them any further, as the group is left on guard, knowing a large predator lurks under them. In Thailand, a man had a jaw-dropping encounter with an aggressive elephant that could have cost him his life. This nerve-wracking clip opens with a man standing a few feet away from a massive elephant in order to observe its magnificence. For a few moments, the encounter appears to be going smoothly. However, things take a drastic turn when this happens. The elephant seemingly changes its mind, so the explorer makes it out of the encounter unscathed. This last clip is from Jonathan Bird's Blue World show, where they showcased a heart-racing encounter with massive tiger sharks. The show starts off with Jonathan and a team of shark handlers feeding the enormous tiger sharks in the Bahamas. The handlers feed and interact with the sharks, even managing to touch their noses, bringing them only a few inches from being bitten by their sharp teeth. Despite the sharks being almost as big as they are, the handlers showcase a terrifying display of bravery as they repeatedly flip the sharks upside down. Thankfully, the sharks proved to be smart, remaining calm and unaggressive towards the team, knowing they were going to get fed. During a trip to Madidi National Park in Bolivia, a man named Daniel got the experience of his life when he witnessed something he could not believe. This video starts with everything seeming normal as Daniel records his tour guide feeding fish to an exotic bird in the shallow river. However, the tour guide eventually has another idea. After several seconds of calling, something eventually moves in the murky waters, and what comes out will surely terrify you.
هذا تاني شانو بمخانش خلنا نقعدوا.
Miraculously, the tour guide proceeds to feed the hungry crocodile the fish, and he even does this. Thankfully, the predator did not go for the man's hands, or this encounter could have easily had a completely different outcome.